Okay, we're on. So
Sweet.
we're here with Dan. This is Dan King, everybody. Everybody say hi, Dan. Fist bump to Dan. Yay.
Giant fist bump. How awesome is that?
Oh, so Dan King from Fistbump Media. Sorry, Holly has something to say. Yeah, sorry, I keep having the same thing again. All right, I'm hiding the toolbox and I am maximizing this. Maybe. All right, cool. So I thought maybe we'll just quickly go around and say our names again so that Dan has an idea of who he's talking to and who is looking at him from the opposite screen. We're good? Go ahead and start, Martha.
Okay, Martha Brady.
You might recognize some of these faces from your consults already.
You didn't see me.
Oh, okay. You didn't see Martha, but you talked to Martha.
I'm Valerie Fish. Also, you didn't see me yet.
Yeah, right.
Yet.
Yet. Jen's also not yet, right?
Awesome.
Martell Souter, we'll visit Monday. We have a schedule.
Shauna Brown. Mary Geisen. Hey, Dan, it's Holly Barrett.
No.
Where's this Amy?
Amy. Hey, Simpson. Molly Hardman. Leanne Taylor. Caitlin Michelin.
Yeah.
Jennifer Cook. Natasha Grimes. Melinda Hollis.
Yay. So that's our crew.
Lead King, Fistbump Media.
Yeah. You're very brave to take on this room full of women. And I'll speak for the planning committee after our Google Hangout. I'll say this room full of somewhat technologically challenged women, which is why you have a job, right?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. I was just responding to an email earlier. Somebody was asking, is there an inquiry through the website, a referral from another client and stuff. But they said, hey, I'm one of those writers that I don't like the technology stuff. And it made me think about it. It's like, that's exactly why I do what I do. I just want to get the technology stuff out of the way for folks and stuff. So yeah, I don't mind technology challenge people. I even have a couple awesome clients who think they're great because they like, oh, I can do a hangout now or something like that, and then they blow the whole thing up or something like that. And they, we have jokes about who my most tech savvy clients are and stuff, and it's just fun. It's fun. I love doing this stuff.
Would you be talking about anybody in this room, Dan?
Maybe.
Love you guys.
Maybe. So Dan, I know I've shared a lot with the 5 Minute Friday community and on my blog, and got to do that interview with you recently. But maybe for those who missed that, could you just give a brief synopsis of some of the services that you do offer through Fistbump, and then maybe we can go into some more in detail scenarios? Yeah,
really. I mean, the whole vision. I think I talked about this a little bit in the interview questions stuff a bit too. But really, the whole thing that I've done with Fistbump Media is kind of summed up by everything that I've done as a blogger myself over the last, almost 10 years now. I've also worked a lot in a corporate environment developing e-learning, online training content stuff for our call center. So I've got a pretty cool balance of understanding good design, but also understanding the technology side and stuff as well too. And having been a writer myself, blogging for several years, self-published, traditionally published books and stuff like that. I'm around that space, and I get what it means to be a writer, to be a blogger, and want to write things and tell stories and stuff. But I also have a good kind of strong technical background. So really, I mean, as far as services are concerned, what we do, we do everything that I've done, like I said, as a blogger myself. I've always designed and maintained my own websites, manage the email subscriber stuff, work a lot with social media. One of my biggest claims to fame with social media is managing social media for the High Calling website that I think a lot of you guys might be familiar with the stuff too, for many years, and really help kind of develop and grow that strategy quite a bit. And a lot of the publishing stuff, so I've helped people with various aspects of you know, self-publishing, whether it's doing cover design or the editing work and stuff. And I don't do it all myself. I got some great editors that I work with and stuff too. That, you know, if that's the piece that you need, you know, we can get it all done for you. But really, anything within that scope, you know, like I said, the big thing is how do I pull the technology out of the equation for you guys? With you know, if it's maintaining your website. Because I know a lot of bloggers, they write because they like to blog, not because they like to be a webmaster and deal with spam control and security updates on plugins and just all that kind of stuff. So, so I try to do a lot of that, and even with publishing, you know, there's a lot of technology to that. How do I format my book right for Kindle and those kinds of things. So it's any piece of that technology that kind of gets in your way. That's my goal, is to try to deal with that piece. So.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I'm pretty sure you've done like all those things for me too. You manage my blog. Someone asked me, "Do you work with Dan?" And I said, "Well, yes. He does my blog. He did my ebook. He does my email subscription. Like pretty much everything that happens on my website is because of Dan."
Yeah. Help with your ebook and stuff too. Publish that. So absolutely. Yeah, it's fantastic. I love it.
It's been good. So we had a few questions that have come through even before the retreat, but maybe just firstly, what are some key components that you've seen in recent trends and everything that bloggers could think about just regarding the design and content of their blogs that would really, you know, maybe minor changes or key elements to a blog that really makes a good first impression?
Yeah. A couple things that I think stand out when I think about good blog design is really, when it gets down to it, you know, everything that I try to do, I try to base off of just the strategy. What is my goal, right? What do I want to try to accomplish? And I try to build the strategy around that. You know, so when it comes to things like design of the blog, you know, how do I lay out my pages? What do I put in my sidebar and stuff? You know, it should all really try to work towards that strategy. You know, how's it going to help me accomplish that goal that I want to try to get? So if you're writing because you're wanting to publish a book someday or something like that, or get picked up by a literary agent or something like that, you know, then everything should focus towards that. And there are different key elements that can help with that. You know, things that like email subscription, email subscriber management is a huge thing, right? You know, there's a lot of buzz with all the social media. Social media is the place to be. You got to be on social media. You got to be tweeting. You got to get more Twitter followers and all this stuff. But you know, one thing that I know, a lot of the publishers and stuff that I talk to, they look at email subscribers. You know, how many email subscribers do you have? And that's a big thing. You know, because one of the things with email is that it's probably still the most provides the most return on the investment. It's the most personal one-on-one form of communication, where I throw out a tweet. Yeah, I might be lucky if a handful of my followers actually see it. I send an email to somebody, that's direct communication from me to that person in their inbox, you know. So you know, there are things like that just really being strategic about what's really most important for you, and it helps to try to accomplish your goal. You know, getting email subscribers may not be important if your goal is just to blog and tell stories and stuff, and that's fine. There's no issue with that. But think about what it is you want to try to accomplish, and then everything with the design and stuff like that, you should build around that. Because one of the things that I see from like a design perspective, and just think about like the sidebar, for example. Sidebar gets to be a big thing. Is I see some sidebars that are just filled up with everything. You know, every friend's blog you have, every nonprofit that you like to follow, and this, you know, everything is kind of loaded up in these sidebars. But if you think through which of those things actually help me accomplish my goal, a lot of people could probably wipe out half their sidebar, you know, by focusing on that one thing. Which ones are the ones that really help accomplish what I want to try to accomplish? You know, sometimes I think from a design perspective, you know, the whole simplicity is a big thing, right? You know, the less is more kind of idea. You know, so don't feel like you have to put all the things, you know, on your website because they're there, you know. But if you focus on the strategy, that'll really kind of guide what you're going to do to help you try to accomplish your goals.
That's good advice. One thing related to email subscriber management, which a question that came up today was, we've got a few people here who have just recently renewed hosting with a different company. but they are looking to make changes with their email subscriber management. Are those some things that you do? Would you be willing to do that for clients who are not hosted by you? Can they still ask you for services if they're not hosted by Fistbump?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, as far as what we do, yeah, you don't have to be on our hosting for, in order to work with us. If there's stuff that you want help with, kind of setting up and optimizing, email subscription on your website and everything too, we can do that. Just let us know. Obviously, we'd love to get you on the hosting, because we think there's a great deal of value in that for a lot of the bloggers to have to not worry about the maintenance and things, but yeah, don't hesitate to let me know if there's anything like that we can help you with.
Oh, thank you. And then a couple of questions that came up in the Facebook group before the retreat. I'll just read these out and maybe they're kind of related. One was, what makes something a better giveaway versus an ebook? Is there a specific guideline, or is it all based on what your purpose is for your blog, book, marketing, etc.? And then how do you put groupings of already written topics together to make ebooks that could be sold?
Mm-hmm.
And these are a lot of questions. What kind of changes can make a blog entry into a book, and what should writers be asking themselves in order to make it gel? So maybe just talk a bit about how to put together an ebook. A lot of us have done 31 days and different series. How do we get that into an ebook that could go onto Kindle?
Right. Yeah, that's a great question. I think with finding the themes and stuff, you hit it with like the 31 days. A lot of people do like 31 days or whatever. And I've helped actually a couple of people take their 31 days pieces and put it into ebook where they can use as a free Kindle download to help kind of encourage the email subscription, or even pop it on Kindle and stuff, and even start selling it that way. And that's fantastic. One of my books. Yeah, this is my first book. It's The Unlikely Missionary from Pew Warman, a Poverty Fighter. That was actually, it was a series, is about my first mission trip. It was a trip to Kenya and Uganda, where I was doing some work with an organization to some microfinance, the loans kind of thing, where you lend somebody $100 to buy a piece of equipment or a tool or something like that, so they can kind of go out and create their own work and build a business. That's very sustainable stuff. And with that trip, I actually wrote a series. I was on the ground there for like 15 days. Wrote daily trip journals for each of the days that I was there, kind of talking about my experiences. And what I did with that, and this is one of the things too, because you don't necessarily have to just take a series of blog posts and say, okay, well, that's my ebook, right? What I did with that is I actually, when I was kind of looking at, what do I try to publish, right? I knew at the time I had about 500,000 words of content on my blog, and I'm like, there's got to be a book in there somewhere, right? And so I started looking at those series and stuff, and I realized it's like, wow, this is not only a pretty substantial series by itself, but when I look at the whole series, I started to think about, well, what's the deeper story? Because I could probably put that together and throw in a little ebook and say, hey, read about Dan's cool trip to Africa, and it was awesome. But there was a deeper thing that was kind of happening in me as I kind of looked through those stories. So I wrote some additional work around it that was never published on the blog and stuff, and used those trip journals as kind of the foundation for the book, right? So there's things you can do with that. Look at any of the series that you write. If you write series, 31 days, or series on trips or experiences, or different ideas or whatever, right? And look at your categories and tags if you use all those things on your blog and stuff to kind of mark your content, right? Some of the ones, I look at a little tag cloud, and I see a big word on there of encouragement, that they've written a lot of content on encouragement. You know what I'm saying? You could probably look at that tag and pull those out and say, hey, what are some standout posts that I've written about encouragement that I can probably use to encourage other people? So look at those kinds of themes and stuff, and don't feel like you got to be limited to just that. Like with The Unlikely Missionary, like I said, I wrote some other stuff around that, kind of used those posts as the foundation for the story, but there was a bigger story that happened there. Yeah, I mean, encouraging and stuff. I know this isn't everybody's story, but yeah, this little book, this little self-published book, just actually passed 10,000 copies of total distribution, which is pretty big, publishing milestone and stuff. So I'm really excited about that. And it's taken some time to do it, but yeah, you put the effort in and find the right story, then that'll be the big thing to
Yeah.
kind of get started.
That's very cool.
First part of your question, Jan.
Okay, apparently the first part of my question didn't get answered. So in terms of the difference between an ebook versus a giveaway, is that what you said? What do you mean in terms of giveaway, Martha? Just
Well, I didn't
like
ask the question, but I thought that was a good question.
Okay, so like a giveaway as a one-time thing, or like subscribe to my blog and I'll give you this product.
Right.
Okay, versus an ebook that's on Amazon, you think? Or
Yeah, you said something like that. You were asking about what makes a good giveaway. Or
yeah, what makes?
Versus ebook. I didn't ask the question.
Let me read it again. What makes something a better giveaway versus an ebook? Is there a specific guideline, or is it all based on what your purpose is for your blog, book, and marketing?
Yeah, and that's one of those things that really kind of gets back to the goals kind of question, right? So it depends on what your goals are, and also thinking about your audience a little bit too, right? Who's your audience? One of the things I see a lot in marketing studies and books and education stuff too is kind of developing like a profile of who your reader is, right? If you think about who are all the people that comment on your blogs and stuff, if you had to kind of build a profile for what this person looks like and say, hey, my average reader is 40 years old, female, and stay-at-home homeschool mom or something like that, right? You can kind of build this little kind of idea of who that basic reader is for your blog and stuff. And then if you're thinking about them, don't think about what you have to offer. Also think about what they need, right? So if I even think about like unlikely missionary stuff, right? If I'm writing about my missionary work, but that is my profile, right? Then maybe I can put together a short list and like a mini ebook of recipes from Africa. You know what I'm saying? That might be of interest to that reader. They kind of think about traveling the world and doing different kinds of things and giving a different kind of experience. But really focus a lot on what your goal is. I think an ebook as a free download is a great idea, especially if you're trying to build up for your other writing. And I think an ebook could be the book itself. I've given away the Unlikely Missionaries a free PDF download before as well too. It could be supporting kind of documentation. It could be other stories that aren't told in the book. You know what I'm saying, about some of the work like that. And an ebook could mean a lot of different things. It could mean I'm telling stories. It could mean I'm providing research, about the issues and stuff that I deal with, and other resources. I know, especially like I think in a lot of homeschooling moms, I see a lot of printables and things, that homeschooling moms give to other homeschooling moms and stuff. Like I said, if that's your target audience, right, and your kind of main reader, then that's something that could fit well. But that's the big thing. It really depends on, think about where your goals, what's going to help you, especially when you think about building the email list and in using that email list later on to say, okay, when I release the book, right, then these are people who are going to be very likely to want to buy the book, right? So you want to get those people on your list. So what can you give them to encourage them to get there? But yeah, so it's just the goals. What do you want to try to accomplish, and then who is your reader, right? It's not necessarily you, but who is your reader? Also, one thing to point out about downloading ebook as well is I had this available on Amazon Kindle. At the same time, I offered a free PDF download of it. But what I would do is in the PDF download, I would say, hey, this is also available in Kindle format. So I would put in my PDF a link to the Amazon page where they could go buy it. And what I found sometimes was people were going, subscribing to my email list, downloading the free PDF, but then they were still going to Amazon to buy the book because they prefer to read it in that format. You know what I'm saying? So I got their email address and their money. So yeah, again, think through the whole strategy and how that kind of pieces together and works together to get to accomplish. even providing a portion, right? You know, if you download the first chapter of my ebook, right, you read the rest, you can buy it on Amazon. You know, that kind of thing. Does that help answer the question, you think? Okay.
Yeah, that's good. Maybe before we open up for Q&A as well, I know you've got a big campaign going on. I couldn't think of the word campaign. With a lot of promotional goodies involved. Can you give us a bit of a summary about the campaign that you're running and what perks are available?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, I heard you.
Oh, I heard that too.
Yeah, what we're doing is we're constantly trying to provide different levels of access to what we do, right? So if I'm working on self-publishing a book, or I'm working with a client on self-publishing a book, you know, we can do all the stuff. They can hand over just a Word document to me with their entire manuscript in it. And we can take that, we can run it through editing, we can do cover design, you know, we can do all the formatting for Kindle and for print, and you know, everything else, and help get it out there. But you know, we also know too that you know, something like that isn't necessarily always in everybody's budget, right? You know, because if we do a lot of stuff and it's a big book, then it could, you know, I've seen some of those projects reach over, you know, $1,000, $1,500 or so, you know, if we're doing all the editing and everything else stuff, right? Which is a big cash outlay. So what we try to do is we're trying to also make sure that we're providing resources and stuff too, so that people can still access the exact way we would do a project, right? But be able to maybe do it yourself, right? So really still try to take the technology out of the way as much as we can. So we're actually building like an e-course program, which is going to be like a big step-by-step through the entire publishing process. Of this is exactly what I would do if I'm putting together a cover design. This is exactly what I would do if I'm doing editing. You know, and here's some options that here's the $5 option, here's the $500 option, right? You know, but help you kind of understand what your resources are, what you can do. You know, some of that stuff you may be able to do yourself. Some of that stuff you still need to hire out for, whether it's us or, you know, another friend or whatever, right? But we want to try to lay out the entire plan from beginning to end of what it takes to develop an idea for a book and get all the way to the self-publishing of it and publishing and marketing it and stuff like that. So we're building that kind of e-course program and everything. The program is actually we're planning to have a lot of like video tutorials and stuff in it. So we have some video production costs and everything like that as well too. So we're actually running an Indiegogo campaign right now to actually kind of pre-sell the course. In the course, we're expecting the full retail cost of it, we're expecting later on to be about $50, like $49.99 kind of deal. You can get it for half price if you do that on Indiegogo. But we also have some other cool perks and stuff too. We're going to have like an exclusive little ebook of additional resources that aren't in the course just for the Indiegogo people and stuff. You know, there's things like if you wanted to get on our hosting, you can get a pretty deep discount on the hosting. And actually the way it works out is our basic managed hosting is like $19.99 a month. Right now on Indiegogo, you could do $200 and get a year of hosting, which is actually, it's like 2 months off. So say like paying for 10 months, you get 12 months. You get 2 months free. Plus you get the e-course and the free ebook and, you know, the exclusive ebook, I should say, and stuff like that. So we have some blog makeover packages out there and stuff. So we've got a few different things and stuff too that we think are good, helpful resources. If you want to publish a book, you're probably thinking about, you know, what does the design of my website look like? Well, we can help you with that makeover, get you a pretty good deep discount on it because you're helping us to produce the course in order to get there and stuff. So yeah, some great perks on some of our services, the big discounts, web hosting, blog makeovers, all that stuff, and half price on the e-course itself.
Yeah, cool. I will make sure everybody gets that link to the campaign so that you guys can check it out. Dan, are there any other things you'd like to add before we open up for Q&A? Just questions that have come from what you've said already. Any other points that you wanted to add before we do that?
Oh gosh, I think I might have had a couple thoughts, but slipped my mind. Q&A would probably help me kind of
Sure, we can come back to it. Sounds good. All right, anybody have questions from what Dan has already said or what you've heard about Fistbump? Had a lot of ebook questions earlier. We're all thinking too. I know, just to give people maybe what's the right word? Just a picture. So Dan did my ebook for me. I had someone else edit it, so I didn't pay for editing, I didn't pay for cover design, but to get the whole thing onto Kindle for me, which I would not have been able to do by myself, and formatting and everything, he did that for $99, and then it was ready to go. I didn't even know about KDP Select, so I can offer it for free 5 days every 90 days, right? Every 90 days you can offer it for free. And I've made back that money. Like my ebook is only 99 cents because it's super short, but I've made back that money that I paid him to do it, even though the book's only 99 cents. So, you know, just to give you an idea of I think it's worth putting the money in. You might make it back if you go that route, and then save me like days worth of headaches not knowing what was going on. So.
Yeah, and I got to say too, just thinking about that, you know, the KDP Select program, basically what she's talking about, if you're not familiar with that, is when I do publishing, you know, I've really focused on a Kindle only approach, an Amazon only approach to the publishing and stuff. Because what I found is when I initially published like The Unlikely Missionary, and I've worked with some other clients and stuff too that had books published really on just about every platform we could get on, the iTunes bookstore, you know, Kindle, Barnes & Noble Nook, all of that stuff. And what we found is consistently with my own projects and others that I've worked with and stuff too, that Kindle was outselling all the other platforms combined by about 20 to 1. You know, including print, right? So I mean, it was blowing up. You know, every other source that we kind of come across. But what Kindle does, what Amazon does with Kindle, is they have this what's called the KDP Select program. So basically, what you're doing is you're saying, all right, in electronic format at least, I'm going to make it exclusive to just Amazon. You can't buy it on iTunes, you can't buy it on Barnes & Noble Nook, whatever. So I'm making it exclusive to Amazon. But when you do, you get some additional promotional perks and stuff. You know, it'll show up like in, you know, so for Amazon Prime members, right, that Prime members can borrow books for free, right? But they're paying basically a fee to be able to do that, right? So, so Amazon has some of that money set aside to pay the authors whose books are borrowed then. So the readers technically get it for free, right? But because there's subscription money to make that happen, the author still has a chance to get paid. Sometimes I've gotten paid more than my selling price for some borrowed books just because of the way the fund works and stuff, right? But you can also offer like, you know, every 90-day enrollment period, you can offer 5 days of like free download and stuff. And what's fascinating is I found that when I'm not doing those promos, right, book sales may kind of run a little flat. I even dip down a little bit stuff over time. But when I throw some promos out there and offer free download, now I've had some days where 20 people downloaded. I've had some days where 1,500 people downloaded. Right? It's crazy. You know, it's hard to tell exactly which day is going to actually hit big like that. But what happens is, regardless of when I'm offering those free promo download days and stuff, if Kate downloaded my book for free, she still bought it on Amazon. Her purchase price was $0. It was part of her purchase history. So it becomes part of the customers who bought this also bought, right? So if I give away 1,500 copies of download like that, man, I just got 1,500 new people who got part of their purchase history. So it's going to help my book show up on other books' pages. The customers who bought that book also bought this one, also bought mine, right? So it helps work the kind of Amazon ecosystem. One of my clients, I wrote an interesting article about this on the Fistbump Media website blog from 2000 to 2000, where he had about half a dozen books when we started, and the entire previous year before that, he sold about 24 copies of all of his books combined the entire year, right? And we started working the system like that and everything too. And in the next 6 months, his distribution went to 2,000 copies of his books and stuff. And he finished the year at about 4,000 copies and stuff. So we maintained that through the entire year. And he was just telling me, this was a couple of years ago, he was just telling me not too long ago, he's like, man, he says, Amazon just keeps putting money in my bank account every month, which is great, so I wouldn't be able to do that. I've been able, because I focus on an Amazon-only approach, I'm not losing sales because I ditched the other platforms. I'm actually able to increase the sales more because I'm using some of those promotional tools and stuff. And Kate did a great job of that too, because I forget what the situation was. Was it there was a suicide or a shooting or something like that?
Yeah, a student was killed in a car accident. So my book is about grief, and in our community, we lost an 18-year-old, and I didn't write the book to make money. I wrote the book for people who are grieving, and so when I heard about it, I was like, I want this to be free. And so I think it was like a Sunday night. I was like, damn, this just happened. Can you please set my book to be free for the next 5 days? And yeah, I think like 1,000 people in those 5 days got it for free. And I was just grateful for that ability to be able to give it for free at that time, so you can just make a quick decision and say, these are the days that I want it. It doesn't have to be planned really in advance, but I was grateful to be able to do that.
And that's a fantastic use of doing stuff like that too. I mean, it's going to continue to pay off big over the long run, but inevitably, I mean, you got your book into 1,000 people's hands. That's going to get you more reviews and stuff like that too. I mean, it's kind of the selfish business side of this, right? But it's going to result in more reviews for you and stuff on it, and more purchase history and all that stuff too. And we'll continue to help over the long run. But it's great that you be able to recognize a situation like that and say, hey, I need to get this in some people's hands, and people are really touching their courage and blessing people who are dealing with that loss, in your area and stuff. So, yeah, it's fantastic.
Anyone thought of any other questions? Maybe any other email subscriber questions, or how difficult is it to switch over to, do you recommend MailChimp primarily, and maybe why? Why do you recommend MailChimp, and what's MailChimp?
So email subscription is huge, right? Talk about how big that is. I think a few of the other platforms I see happening on a pretty regular basis is people still using like a feed burner. If you're on like a WordPress.com blog, maybe using the WordPress email subscription stuff. And I like MailChimp personally. I think it's got a forever free account that gives you a great place to start. You can run for free for a long time. Some of the other services like Aweber and stuff, I think you start charging money pretty early on, but it doesn't go up as much later on if you grow to a certain point. Aweber, Constant Contact, MailChimp. MailChimp's just my favorite of the ones, but there's a lot of them that do very similar stuff. But I think if you're like on a feed burner or like a WordPress email subscription or something like that too, you're probably very limited. People can subscribe and get the email from you, but you probably lose a little bit of control over things like the branding of the email. One of the things I like to do on MailChimp is the people who get my blog RSS feed, I can design that email. So not only is the email on there, the blog post on there, I would link back to the website and stuff too. But if I have, I've had some things where I've gone on some other blogging, writing mission strips, and we're doing things like trying to raise money for schools, stuff like that too. So I'll put little buttons on the email. So every email that goes out has got something about like, hey, help support us with building this school. Read some of the stories now or whatever, things like that. So you can do a lot of stuff with the design to really complement, enhance, and look a lot like your website. So the experience in their inbox is very similar to the experience on your website. But then you can also do some of the things like the offer some kind of free ebook or something like that as a download. Oh, is that a baby? Yay for me. I'm sorry, I love babies. Babies are awesome. Anyway, sorry for that. So yeah, it's the Yeah, a tool like MailChimp will allow you to do the free download, kind of build it into the process and stuff. So it's just kind of an automatic thing. Because what happens is when somebody subscribes to your list on like a MailChimp, it's kind of a double verification thing to make sure that the email address is good. You're not getting spam subscribers and stuff. So they have to get an email and click on the button to verify that, yeah, that's their good, valid email address and stuff. And when they validate their email address and stuff, then they'll get a follow-up, hey, thanks for subscribing message, and another email and stuff, thanks for subscribing. And that's where you can kind of plug your, links to download your PDF and things like that. So, or whatever resources you're sent up. So you can automate a lot of that process. And then also too, you can send other one-off messages that don't have anything to do with a blog post, right? If you want to communicate with your email subscribers and say, hey, I've got something coming up pretty soon. You don't need to write a big blog post about it, but I want to send them all an email to let them know about something coming. You can do that, right? So they've subscribed and it said, hey, go ahead and communicate with me. So you can do that kind of stuff too. So MailChimp is definitely a great place, I think, to manage all that stuff, just because of all the design, automation, functionality of adding in different tools like that. So,
Okay, good. I have more questions.
Okay.
Probably more after that. But one, what's the advantage? So for a long time, I had a free WordPress site, .wordpress.com. And then when I took over 5 Minute Friday, I decided to switch to drop the .wordpress.com section, which you did for me. What is the advantage of doing that? What's one or two advantages of not having a free .wordpress.com or .blogspot.com? Because for a long time I was like, hey, it's free, it's working, why should I switch? What are some of the perks of dropping that?
Well, one of the things is ownership of the content, right? The only way that you really truly own your content is to host it on your own website. The second you put it on one of the other free platforms on Blogger, like a blogger, I think I was surprised one time, if you read in the terms of service or something like that Blogger, owned by Google, right? Google retains the rights to be able to use your content in some other ways. Now that may not be like a big scary, they're going to republish your blog post and they're going to take all the credit or whatever, but it may be some kind of like thing like something from your blog or something show up somehow in some kind of ad or whatever. Regardless of, and I haven't seen a lot of big, like especially scary instances of any stuff like that happen, but the fact that they have that in their terms of service, basically that they have right to be able to use your content, is a scary idea to me, right? And it's the same kind of thing with even on WordPress.com. It's a free platform. They got paid for it somehow, right? So I see this a lot more on WordPress.com, where they'll put ads in your blog posts and stuff, right? You see some of those ads, sometimes videos and stuff like that at the bottom of your blog post. You have absolutely no control over that. Now the good news is that they definitely tried, because they're trying to maximize click-throughs, they try to match it with the same kind of content that you're writing about. But like I said, you have no control over that, and you don't benefit from that either. So you're not getting paid; they're getting paid. So things like the ownership of the content and the platform and control over it stuff is really probably one of the biggest reasons to get on what we call the self-hosted WordPress. That's the kind of service that we offer, stuff where we can help host your website, but that's, you own the content, you own the website, it's yours. Nobody else can mess with it. Stuff is really one of the big things that I see. And I also think too, from a branding perspective, you get a lot more control over things like the design and the functionality you can build in. Especially true with like WordPress. WordPress is going to be pretty limited as far as the free WordPress, as far as plugins and things like that. You can't put in the plugins that you can put in like on a self-hosted WordPress website. So there's some big design considerations and factors and stuff there as well too.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. And then so we know that there are other places, obviously, besides Fistbump, that could host. We could just sign up for hosting. I've heard somewhere 99 cents. I know. Can you believe it? So what's the big advantage? Why should we not go and get one of those 99-cent things and do everything on our own? What are some of the advantages of having? I mean, I can tell them, but I'll let you.
But Yeah, I look at a lot of what I do compared to like, the GoDaddies and the Bluehosts and all that as really being different services almost, right? You can get web hosting and email addresses and all that stuff there too, and we offer all of that stuff. But I think the big thing that really separates us, I hate to like put it like it's just me because it's really going to be more of a team effort and stuff now too. But you get the me, right? You get the Dan King. It kind of goes along with the package, because the second you start self-hosting a website, you just also become a webmaster, right? So you got to worry about all the WordPress and plugin and theme updates and stuff, which could create security issues if you don't back that up. The things like the spam control and stuff. You get me with my technical experience and stuff, basically partnering with you on your website. So you can just focus just on just the writing and not have to worry about that technology stuff. And then we're just always. I like to think of this too, right? Kate. I mean, you're one of my clients too, right? So I think we have fun working together. You know what I'm saying? I'm here when you need me and stuff like that too. And it's not like we talk every day or anything, but it's cool to be able to just kind of partner and be able to work with somebody. I think a lot of the stuff that we try to do with our stories and our writing and stuff like that too, really should be a team effort. It doesn't have to be something that you're all alone doing. I think events like what you guys are doing now and connecting and helping each other and encourage each other and build each other up and strengthen each other, all that stuff, I think is fantastic. What I try to do too is the same kind of thing. I just try to come alongside you and be there with you. You're not going to get that from a GoDaddy.
Right.
They're 99 cents, but they deal with it all in volume. I deal with it, and I'm going to be your partner and help you out and help you communicate the story that God's put on your heart. So.
Right. Yeah. Within 5 Minute Friday, I can get this to work now. You guys link back to my post in 5 Minute Friday, and we get trackbacks and stuff that will go on the bottom of the post to show where your link has linked up to that page. That's usually Dan that goes in. I'll be like, grocery shopping on Friday, and I'll get like 17 emails, ping back. I'm like, oh, Dan's been like approving all my trackbacks for me, and I don't have to do it. I can just go grocery shopping, and he'll clear out my spam folder and everything else. So. Yep. Totally worth it. So he's part of the 5 Minute Friday community too. Fistbump. Totally there. So any other questions?
I had a follow-up question about the MailChimp service. Does that go the other direction? Like, can people use that to email you as well? Or is it just you?
Well, yes and no. So if they're subscribed to your list, then when they get emails, those emails are from you. So they can reply to that and get back to you. Does that make sense? But it's not a, hey, how do I get in touch with Kate or Dan or anybody, whatever. It's they're subscribing to your email list. They do have content, but they're not. It's not like a contact form kind of thing. Is that kind of what you're asking, or?
Well, like if somebody, if you wanted to have a conversation.
Yeah.
If like say one of your readers said, I really like this post, and it wasn't that I sent out an email or something, they just wanted to email me off the cuff. Would there be something within MailChimp where like you could put a button on your blog, like email me? Like I have a button on my blog that I made myself because I do everything myself. Because my blog is very like basic, but it says email me. And is there something like that where if a reader wanted to get in touch with you, does that make sense?
Yeah. So, yes and no. I think if a reader just wants to get in touch with you, and assuming they're not subscribed, they're just on your website and want to get in touch with you, I think just regular contact form and stuff works great for that. I think when they're an email subscriber, they end up kind of getting contact with you, because even the verification process and stuff, right? When they get the email that says verify your email address and stuff, that's an email from you. You know what I'm saying? So they have your email address, and they can reply back to that email and get to you in your inbox and stuff. And that's actually a pretty cool thing. It's one of the things I really like about about email, and that's I think part of the power in it and stuff. I even tell the story a little bit in the Unlikely Missionary. One of my blog subscribers, when I announced that I was going to be going to Kenya, right? I hadn't said a word about this anywhere before, but I announced that I was going to Kenya. One of my blog subscribers replied to that email back to me. There's a guy who lives in Kenya and says, "Hey, when you're here, I'd really like to meet you." You know, that was fascinating to realize, number one, that I've got a subscriber to my blog in Kenya already. You know, but it's cool. I was able to meet him and develop a friendship, and we even chatted a few times and stuff, you know, via email and everything since then. And it's just, yeah, it's fantastic. So yeah, they, in a sense, they do have access to you via email. It doesn't really go through MailChimp. It's just because MailChimp sends the email to them that has your email address on. They can reply to that, and it's just email back and forth.
I got you. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Any other questions? No. Good. No. Last year, more time.
I got a.
Sorry, time's up. Okay.
I'm trying to put this to work. It was Lisa Jo Baker. She must have changed something, but because she said at the bottom, I'm reading her blog in my email, and she says, if you want to reply to me, just reply to this email. Does that mean that's not going to go on her comment section, is it? I didn't even look to see if it did. It's just in her email.
Yeah, that message.
If somebody doesn't want to make a public comment, that they can speak to you personally. Is that does that MailChimp or something like that do that?
Yeah, she uses right now a tool called, she's a client as well. She uses a tool called Mad Mimi for her email subscription.
Yeah.
And personally, I'm not a huge fan of that one. I still like MailChimp a lot better and stuff, but I know some people who rave about Mad Mimi and you know does the trick and stuff. But yeah, that's messaging that she's put in the email, so it's not on her blog at all or anything like that. So basically, when that email goes out, the blog post will kind of be inserted in its space in that email, and then there's other elements that we build around it and stuff too. So that messaging is on that email. It's like, hey, if you want to talk to me, just reply to this. You know, so it's helping her educate her subscribers that yeah, we can have that one-on-one communication back and forth via email. But that's also kind of part of that design stuff too, right? You know, it's an important thing to her to be able to develop those kind of relationships and stuff with her readers. So it's, again, you think about the whole strategy thing. It's a very strategic move to be able to kind of do that kind of thing. So.
Right.
Everything has a purpose. Should have a purpose, right?
Yeah. Cool. That's all set. Any other stuff? All right. Should we clap again? Thank you so much. Well, we really appreciate your time, Dan. Thank you so much. And I will make sure everybody gets a link to your Indiegogo campaign too to take advantage of some of those discounts. So. Awesome. Cool. Thanks, guys. Yeah, I appreciate you. It's been great, you know, meeting a bunch of you and working with you and talking to you. So you guys rock. Have a great day. Consults too. We've really appreciated those consultations, those one-on-ones. So. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I enjoyed doing those too. So, cool. Oh, well, enjoy the rest of your weekend. All right, fist bump. Wait, I want to picture the group. We're doing a group fist bump picture for Amy. Fist bump for Amy. Am I in the picture somehow or not? Huh? I don't think so. Take a picture. Take a picture of the screen so we're all fist bumping. There we go. Fist bump to the screen. Yay. All right. Sweet. Cool. Awesome. Thanks so much, Dan. Appreciate it. Bye, all right. Everybody says bye. Have a good rest of the weekend. Thank you. Bye.